Hello and welcome to Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
Yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And today we watched a movie on Netflix.
A Netflix original.
A Netflix original movie on Netflix, but we're not sponsored by them.
No.
But that's not to say we wouldn't take money if they gave it to us.
I think they need all the money they have.
Oh, really?
Well, you know, all the licensing deals and all the original shows they're trying to make.
I think they're doing quite well. I don't think they're struggling.
They don't really make that much of a profit, though.
No?
Like, they do, but it's not like it's... The music's going to stop at some point when all these other people want to make their own service. So they're going to start losing content, right? And so that's why they're pumping out all these shows and everything like that.
Right, to get you addicted.
Yeah.
Although they did have some pretty good product placement in the movie we just watched.
That's true. There was a few.
There was an Xbox placement.
Yeah.
It was very obvious.
I barely even noticed the Xbox one. I noticed the Carhartt one. That made me laugh the most.
Yeah, it was like... And was it...
Yamaha,
yeah. And Red Bull.
The Red Bull one was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Especially when a guy's about to commit suicide.
Yeah, it gives you wings.
Maybe not in that situation.
Okay, so in case you're wondering, we just watched Anon, starring Clive, Owen, and Amanda Seyfried. Seyfried.
Yeah.
If you're unfamiliar with them, it was starring children of men and the dumb one from Mean Girls.
She's been in other things.
I can't think. Well, yeah, I guess he has.
No, I was talking about Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, has she?
Yeah. Well, she was in like Les Mis, and she's been...
Was she?
Yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff.
She didn't shave her head, though, for Les Mis.
No.
So.
Anne Hathaway did, and so, you know, that's what you remember.
Also, I didn't see Les Mis.
Oh, really? I did, actually. It was actually good.
Yeah, I heard that, Wolverine... No, not Wolverine. The other guy.
Russell Crowe.
Gladiator was terrible.
No, it was actually them, though. It was like him and...
singing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew Hugh Jackman's an excellent singer.
Yes. No, it was hilarious because my mom and I saw it with her boyfriend, and he's like World War II war movie type guy. And then when the movie started, he's like, "Is this a musical?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Oh my god." And I was like, "Wait, how did you not know Les Mis was a musical?" So that was kind of funny.
Good times.
Yeah. But we're not talking that, we're talking Anon.
Anon. So, before we get into spoilers, it's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Set in the future?
Yeah, I'd say like near future.
Near future?
Yeah.
Basically what it is that people's eyeballs record what they see.
Yeah.
And the police can access it if they need to.
Yeah, it's like recorded and stored somewhere, so you can even access it yourself.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, I want to replay that memory. And then, like the police can access it.
Yeah. I guess it means there's less crime.
Yeah, obviously there'd be far less crime.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the premise. Yeah. Let's get into spoilers.
Well, before we go into spoilers, did you enjoy it? Would you recommend people watching it?
I did enjoy it.
Yeah?
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if it had been released 15 years ago, it would have blown my mind.
Sure. Because that kind of idea in tech is not around, but like that's the world we live in practically. So
yeah. So and then I mean, visually it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a few times where I was like, wow, the cinematography is really good.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of had a little bit of like a Gattaca feel where it was like super clean.
Yeah.
Lots of concrete, but still old-fashioned cars.
Yes.
It had a little bit of a Matrixy vibe going on because you can see the hacksaw going.
So much hacksaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going through 5 proxies.
Yeah.
And the acting was okay. It was pretty good.
Yeah, no, well, and then before jumping in spoilers, I also actually would recommend watching it.
It wasn't like when I watched, like, Ex Machina is the most recent, like, sci-fi that I've watched that I was like, my mind is blown and this is amazing and I can't look away from the screen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was enough there to draw me in, and I enjoyed the story, and I thought it was kind of cool. I enjoyed more the, well, I guess we'll get into spoilers about it later, but like some different aspects of the story than what was supposed to be highlighted. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd still recommend watching it. It was a neat watch.
Yeah, if it's like a Wednesday night and there's nothing good on TV and you kind of want to kill an hour and 40 minutes, I'd totally recommend watching it.
Sure. Okay. Now on to the spoilers.
Everybody dies. And it's Thanos' fault.
I was about to say Rogue One-ing it. Just everyone dies.
Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Sure. Wherever you want to start.
I don't know where I want to start.
Okay, well...
I'm so tired, Dad.
It was pretty... Yeah, we get some intro stuff where, again, Clive Owen, he's a detective, and then, like you said, the police can access all of your records, so he's interviewing a couple people, and they're trying to report a crime or this or that, and you're like, okay, so it kind of establishes
some pretty good
what's up.
setup of, like, the rules of the universe.
Yes. Yeah, and then we get some scenes there, and then it just kind of, like, immediately gets into, like, oh, there's a murder, and then you get the murder from the murderer's perspective. But the person is seeing that at the same time.
So basically the murderer hacks the victim so that the victim can't see his own things. He can only see what the murderer is seeing.
Yeah, disorienting the person, aka the victim, which immediately reminded me, of course, of Ghost in the Shell, because that kind of stuff happens, and also reminded me of an older movie called End of Days, which I know Sean really likes, actually, and it's got Chris Ellickson and Juliette Lewis. It's an older movie, and Tom Sizemore, and it's about a murder happens, and in that world, people wear these rigs and record what they're doing, and then, like, sell them, but it's like there's a black market for, like, extreme like emotions and events, and so they have like people murdering people or people like jumping off a building or whatever, but like, you know, someone skiing, that's totally legal, and you're like, oh cool, it feels like I'm skiing. But so it immediately reminded that, because the plot in that movie is there's a murderer going around doing murders while wearing it, and then like murdering people, and then that gets out, and the detectives are trying to stop the murders.
Right. Yeah.
So it immediately reminded me of that. But yeah, so that's a cool...
It's a cool setup.
It's a cool setup to, like, that could happen, of course, because then it's like, well, then the system is fallible.
Yeah, there's actually even, like, a line where the other detective is like... He's basically like, well, how are we going to catch them if they don't let us see them doing it? Or something like that. And then Clive Owen's like, I guess we got a real whodunit on our hands.
I thought that was funny. He's like, so hard that the criminal didn't let us see him do it. Yeah, and then earlier in the film, just before like that, and like the beginning of Clive Owen's day, he's walking down the street, and then it's like showing how it's identifying people, and this I guess was I feel because it's like he's a cop, he can access all this extra data, but it's like, what would it be like to a normal citizen? What would they see about people? Right. It was kind of my question, but then he sees Amanda Seyfried in the street, and it's just like an error. Yeah. And then he was like, oh, that was kind of weird, and then of course that it's like she's involved in the plot because it's Amanda Seyfried.
One of the characters.
Yeah. But yeah, so the murder kicks off into that, and as you go, I don't know, it was just kind of neat. Like they had the setup I thought was hilarious when they're like, oh, he's gonna go undercover to like try to like contact these hackers.
Okay, yeah. So that made I guess we'll get into what we didn't like about it. Sure. Yeah. That made no sense to me because it's like she's like, oh, I'll only look at what you want me to look at when he finally gets in touch with her, and then it's like, well, that doesn't really seem like a good business practice to me. Because if it's that easy to like she knows how easy it is to change someone's memory or like alter their files, so wouldn't there be some sort of glitchy thing she'd be able to see?
Like, well, or just like, oh, what was he doing a year ago? Oh, he was a cop.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Like, at least, like, double check.
Yeah. Or, totally, like, I don't know. That seemed a little...
I mean, they kind of explain it in a way that they're like, oh, you know, you'll be there for a month, so if someone looks back, you know, it'll look like you were just a stockbroker for a month. Yeah. But I was like...
What if they look back
further?
Month and a half. Yeah. Or a month and 1 day. Yeah. Yeah, so there are some plot holes there.
Well, it's not so much a plot hole as just like banking on convenience that no one would look back that far. Yeah. And I was like, but yeah, and again, this was the police can access it, but of course a normal citizen would. So it's like other people at his job wouldn't know that he was a policeman. I was like, okay, I'm cool with that, but it's like your master hacker would probably hack that far back. Yeah,
and it honestly seemed like like a way to get more tits in the movie.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
Because he fucks a prostitute,
yes,
and then he hires her to erase it.
Yes.
And he calls his girlfriend.
Yeah.
After, but like, here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me as well. She could have accessed the call.
Yeah.
Then she could have access to that girl's memories from a week ago and seen that they're not dating.
Well, or I just assumed it was like a made-up girlfriend. Like,
yeah, but
it wasn't the same woman.
I know.
Yeah.
But because she's able to access other people's memories without trying, because she does it to erase the hooker's memory.
Right.
Then why wouldn't she access the girlfriend's memory just to make sure there was nothing else?
Well, she says something about like, oh, we'll leave the call in so then your girlfriend will know that like you still called me or called her, etc.
Yeah, but she could have went into the girlfriend's memory to see what the girlfriend was doing after the call or something like that too, right? Like she could have access to that.
She has the code of, keeping it semi-private.
I guess. It's just like, it seemed like like there was a lot of loose threads that if she just had pulled a little bit, that it could have unraveled.
Sure. But, some movies always have that kind of thing. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I just didn't think that their undercover was very good.
No, I was also kind of like, this isn't making a lot of sense here, but okay.
They could have used, like, his own memories and been like, oh, I'm a sad divorced guy who always spends my nights alone, and I had a hooker, and then I felt shitty about it.
Sure.
So I wanted to get that erased.
Yeah. But then it probably might not have looked that he could have paid her or something, right?
Yeah.
So, gotta get that cash.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, they do this convoluted setup so then they could track her, and then they do manage to like get through all of her proxies and firewalls. They use proxy a lot because it's like they have to bounce the signal back constantly, and then they do some surveillance on her, and then it's like, oh, she switches it up, and now they have to do it again.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, are you that bad at being police people now that you're like, hey, this is not a good idea? I think even Clive Owen's like, this is not a good idea.
Yeah, I know, right? Like.
And I was like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. And then, of course, it goes wrong.
Yeah, of course it goes.
Yeah, she finds out that he's a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there were some flaws in their plan. But I guess maybe if they had that technology, they just wouldn't know how to do anything anymore.
Yeah, well, it kind of reminded me a little bit of, like you say, with Gattaca, when they're just, like, all, like, hoovering everything, and then it's just, like, they don't know how to be cops anymore. Like, he doesn't even recognize his own brother, like, the one character.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
They don't know how to just be, like, detectives, like, because the one guy's always like, we'll just line up all the undesirables in the area and we'll scan them. And it's like, what?
Nothing could go wrong with that plan.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Exactly. So, like you say, methods would change, and they'd just be so not used to how to do some actual work.
It would be like a police officer now being like, witch hunts used to work back in the day. Why don't we try that? We'll just burn people at the stake till they confess.
Someone will confess to the crime. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, very perfect. Yeah, and then it kind of leads to... There was some cool scenes that I will get to, I guess, but then eventually it's revealed that maybe Amanda Seyfried's not the one committing these murders, and
she's being set up.
Else. Yeah, there's a setup, and then there's kind of a climactic thing. It was kind of cool, like, because they set up Clive Owen, they're like, get him off the case, classic, he has to turn in his gun.
Yeah.
And then the hacker's messing with him by making him see all these things, which I really liked.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good scene.
Yeah, that was all really cool.
The hacker that wasn't Amanda...
As far as we know.
Oh, yeah, I guess it could have been her.
Could have been her initially, and then the other guy took over.
Yeah, so he hacks, or someone hacks into Clive Owen's visions. He sees, like, rats all over his apartment. Yeah. He keeps replaying... Oh, so Clive Owen has a son that died.
Yes.
And he...
Divorced wife.
And he's got a divorced wife, and he accesses memories of his son when he's sad.
A very Minority Report.
Yeah. So he goes to access one of the memories, and then they're all erased, and then hacker keeps replaying the death of his son.
Yeah, from like his perspective. And what have you.
And from the son's perspective.
Yeah. So, which was, totally messing with him, and you're like, oh, that would definitely mess with you.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's insanity right there.
Yeah. Well, and then even because there's like the next scene, he's driving a car, and I was like, shouldn't you not be driving a car?
Both like, I don't think you should drive a car.
Yeah. Because then, of course, the hacker messes with him, and they're like, oh, the road is all clear, and then they show like a shot from outside the car, and it's like a full traffic zone, and then he gets into a car accident, of course.
Surprise!
Surprise! Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then it just kind of leads to the climactic kind of scene, or I would say the face off, as it were, and then I thought the other hacker's motivation was very unexplained and quickly.
I knew who it was, though.
Yeah, Devin called it.
I called it.
Yeah, she did. And it's like super explained quickly, and then it's over. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he, like, fell in love with her.
I guess so.
Through the internet.
Yeah.
And because he was the fifth proxy.
Yeah.
Which, okay, Dan, what is a proxy?
Proxy's just another server that you access to like move data around.
So he was a server?
Yeah, I guess that's what they're implying, is that he was a server keeping her anonymous as well, because she was using many proxies to like be hidden.
Yeah.
This was what I was gonna say. There's that scene, the undercover. They're like, the plan is we'll get her in the apartment, and when she's hacking, so I guess accessing the aether, they call it.
Yeah.
Not the internet. We can trace her, and they have like the other tech guys in the apartment beside, just like sitting there staring at a wall.
Yeah, and then there's also like lots of white little squares and dots going from them in little lines.
So yeah, he's scanning her, like what she's accessing to trace her or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, they keep going through other proxies and stuff. But I just thought it made it funny to me from like a, because right now a lot of movies have CG and et cetera, but this was like everything, they're just staring at a table.
Yeah, I know.
And then I assume they just AR, did the AR part afterwards. But so it's just like, okay, stare at the wall for like 30 seconds for the shot.
Look intense. Move your eyes back and forth a little bit.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. Or I assume they shined a light in their eye to like
dilate the pupils. Yeah. Yeah, there's also that scene where he's in the office with the other stockbrokers, and then none of them have computers or paper or anything, because they're all... But then I'm like, why would they even have desks? Why wouldn't they be sitting on a comfy couch or something?
Sure. Well, at least it's got to keep you focused still.
Like, why aren't they in a swing? Like, they could be literally anywhere.
Yeah.
They don't even have to go to the office. They could be at home.
Yeah, well, if you're like a lower guy, you got to do it from the office. If you're the high up.
You could save so much money, or you could like create so much more housing.
Yeah.
If everybody could work from home by sitting there and staring at a wall.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the guy that the police chief made them work with ends up being the fifth proxy.
The fifth proxy, keeping her anonymous.
And fell in love with her, but didn't want to have sex with her, but had to kill everyone who had sex with her.
Yes. Well, he was trying to erase her entire past as well, because the whole point is she's erased herself. No one knows who she is anymore. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, well, you've had contact with people, and you can't erase what's in their head, but I'm doing that by murdering them.
Oh, is that what his thing was?
Yeah,
okay.
He was like, I'm erasing every trace of you ever. And I was like, okay. But
he wasn't killing people that were her clients that didn't have sex with her, only the ones that did.
I guess. So there's like a love jealousy angle too, probably.
Yeah.
To it. Yes. They tried. They set something up. It was different. It was kind of a neat, because I just expected the whole time that she was like a Black Widow type character, and then when they betrayed her, she just went and murdered them.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fair.
Made sense to me.
Yeah, it made sense to me too. I was like, sure, I get you.
Would Maybe that was the first cut of the movie.
Yeah, maybe. And they're kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird or a little dark.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, because it was then. Well, that would make it very like Basic Instinct or anything kind of thing where it's like, you mess with her, she'll mess back, and you're a dead person.
Yep. I guess they wanted Clive Owen alive at the end of the movie and her alive at the end of the movie so that she could say that weird, like, I've given you my history or my file.
No, I did like that at the end.
I'm just in the algorithm.
Yeah. No, that was kind of a neat little, because they talk about, it's like, oh, we can't find any record of her. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, oh, my life is split up and stored on everybody's files. So it's like, I was like, that's kind of cool. It's like she doesn't need to have like that memory. She keeps her memories in her head, and everybody else just memorizes has pieces of her life. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. It's a good way to anonymize yourself.
It is kind of neat, but I also felt like the word algorithm's a kind of a buzzword right now.
Sure.
Like proxy is. And I think they just kind of threw it in there for that.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I think it would have been too weird if they used some kind of actual technical term for it, so they used algorithm, right?
Okay.
Because algorithm sounds mathy and programmy.
Mathy?
Yeah, it's mathy and programmy, and you're like, okay, an algorithm could do anything, essentially, because technically that's what a lot of programs are algorithms. You know.
I know, it's just, it felt like a buzzwordy word. BuzzFeed word.
A BuzzFeed word. Yeah, no.
9 signs that the algorithm of your life has been proxy.
I'm trying to think of what could have been used as a different word, though, that like people would understand kind of what they're getting at.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's another better word.
Secret hidey hide?
Yeah.
Secret hidey hide puzzle?
They could have just said program.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, oh, she's running some kind of program to keep her hidden. And you're like, okay, some kind of program. Because that's essentially what they were getting at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, there's the confrontation, and then it was cool because at the end, of course, Buddy hacks Clive Owen's view, so he's seeing from his perspective, and then Clive Owen has to use that to, like, shoot him. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, because then he's got his back to him.
He had to triangulate the angle of the proxy.
No, he just had to, like,
an elaborate algorithm. No, I did think that was cool.
Yeah, he just had to point and shoot, but using someone else's view.
Yeah.
Which was neat.
Yeah.
Here was one thing, though, I didn't like about the viewpoint thing.
Let's hear it.
Because
it felt like a video game a lot of the time?
No. I was cool with the idea of it and the use of it, is that the people that were hacked and then were all like, oh, what's going on? What are you doing? And there's a gun to their face. It's like, you would probably think there's a gun. Like, you would sense there's another person.
Yeah, not
you would, like,
single person ducked.
Yeah, not a single person ducked or waved their arm in front of them.
Yeah. Look, get that gun on my face.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, no one put up the minorest struggle.
They were just confused. I can see myself and there's a gun pointed at me.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, oh no, my twin's in here and I'm pointing a gun at them by accident.
It's so weird. Yeah. So that was kind of where I was like, not one person did anything to like be like, oh no, don't shoot me in the face.
Yeah.
But again, they were talking, okay, maybe he was hacking the perspective more. Like, we don't get their perspective ever. So it's like, maybe he just hacked it completely so it's a blank room. Or maybe he wasn't doing the feedback to, like, where they see from him. I don't know.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Because he could, like, do a double hack, essentially,
right?
Yeah,
because he did do a double hack.
Yeah, so...
At one point. When was that? Or she did.
She did. So it's like, yeah, so that could be going on and we just don't know that. Yeah. But it was because, like, everyone just stands around and then gets shot in the face.
Yeah, they do.
But I did want to bring up one of your favorite scenes. You were talking about that. The one in the subway was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, so he is chasing after her.
Well, he thinks it's her.
Yeah, we don't know who he's chasing after. He ends up in a subway, and he thinks he's, like, stepping onto a subway car, but he's actually, like... not. He's leading into, like, an oncoming train.
Leading into the path of the train.
And actually, I'm going to bring this up so that you can get mad. I saw a trailer for this movie, and it had that scene in it. Yeah. But it also cut it with, like... I think one of the scene where he's in his apartment and he thinks somebody's beating him up.
Yeah.
So it looked like it was a fight scene.
Oh, like he got chased by that dude, or vice versa? He's chasing somebody?
No, just the way they cut it, or I wasn't paying attention, made it look like he was fighting people in the subway car. Oh, but there was actually no one there. So I don't know. It was just done a little bit weird in the trailer to make it look like. It looked like he was, like he was fighting.
There was something more going on than
but it wasn't.
Actually what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, and I liked even just the idea, because again, it's like the hack perspective thing that the hacker changed the length of the stairs so that he fell down the stairs.
That was pretty funny.
And then, of course, it was pretty interesting how it's like there's all these people around and then they're all like just like frozen except for maybe a couple are moving. And I was like, oh, I assume he's hacked like all these people. Yeah. Or something else is going on. And then, like you say, he's leaning over a track. And then
the train. Yeah.
Or he gets bumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the train. Oh, I guess now that makes sense maybe because after the bump with the train, I was complaining about this. There's an immediate cut to Amanda Seyfried in a nightclub.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes sense to show that she wasn't actually there.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now it makes sense. But it was still the weirdest edit that I was like, this doesn't fit.
I feel like there was something a little bit more missing from that bit.
Yeah, or maybe they should have done a like kind of like a classic where she's like at a bar or in the nightclub, but like at the bar, like buying a drink or something like that, and then dancing. So you get like a few seconds of like, oh, she's doing something, and it's like, oh, she did that afterwards.
Yeah,
totally. It could have let us down because I had no idea that was like, I was like, is this the same time? Is it the next day? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. You know what else was kind of strange? Did you notice how Clive Owen's ex-wife is just always sitting in front of her vanity?
Well, I assume she goes there when he calls, because it looks like when you call people, it's better if you're in a reflective surface.
Yeah, so that they can see what you're seeing, I guess. Yeah, but it's still like, she got no other mirrors in her house?
Huh? I guess maybe she doesn't...
She hangs out in the bedroom all the time.
Well, or maybe she doesn't want him to see more of his life.
Okay.
Or her life, sorry.
She answers the phone pretty quick, though. I still feel like she just sits in front of her vanity all day.
Yeah.
That's the only thing she does.
Well, and here was the thing. I don't know. It's not a huge aspect of the film, but it's like, okay, what's the technology here? Because the human brain processing stuff and everything, we're great at it. But it's like us looking and seeing all this data, and it's like, what's implanted in us to do that? Because they talk about it at one scene where they're like, oh, look at the baby's perspective, it saw stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, so at infancy these are implanted?
Yeah.
What does that do? How does that work? I was questioning the technology, because then it's like, then we have radio transmitters in our brain that because you can make phone calls and you can hear people and everything, and I was like, how does this work, and how does this not give us cancer?
Probably everyone has cancer.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. There was like, because there's a scene where they're looking in Amanda's apartment.
Yeah.
And it's got information on literally everything in the room.
Yeah.
So is it just doing like a Google image search every time?
Yeah.
Like for everything?
Yeah, and
or does everything have a computer chip, or
right, like an RFID chip that's like broadcasting?
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of like I was saying why it's pretty near future, and like I was saying, like that kind of tech, we have that kind of tech, and even like the next version. Well, they don't call it the next version, but like the next kind of like Google Glass type product, let's just say, will be far more implemented well, like with AR type stuff like that, like augmented reality, where it's like, if you look at a building, it can like tell you about the building and this kind of thing, right? So it's like that kind of stuff is
creepy.
It's happening, and going to happen. But it's like, I was just more questioning, like you say, like he's looking at everybody and he gets like a blurb about them, and I was like, okay, because he's a cop, but what about what do normal people see?
Yeah, what do normal people see? And also, they're looking in her apartment, and one of the cops say, "Oh, she really is analog."
Yeah.
But then, like, why does it still have information on everything in there?
Yeah, well, and then they talk a bit about it, how it's like, oh, it's in the ether, or on the aether. It's like the memories that you can re-access. So it's like there's some huge database servers somewhere that are just like literally storing all of this data.
Yeah. they basically, they're like, Minnesota, you're out. Yeah. You're now a server.
You're now a data center.
Yeah.
So I definitely had some questions about the technology, and that wasn't the focus of the movie, so we didn't really kind of get those answers, and that's fine, but I was just kind of curious from my own perspective, because it did seem very much what could happen in the next 10 years, AR-wise with glasses, not retinal implants or whatever. I actually originally thought that's what it was. It was just like, oh, they're wearing like contacts or retinal implants or something like that. No, they never mentioned anything about the tech.
Evolution.
Sure. Well, and that's just it. Like I was saying, when they're all doing like the hacking scenes, they're literally just sitting there staring, and then it's like, okay, so their brain, they're like, oh, go through these things and hack here and do this. Yeah. And I'm like, what about just like generic like internet browsing? Like what about online shopping? Like, is it all weird little gray nodes?
Yeah,
I guess, you know. So again, that wasn't.
Well, there's that point where he like walks past the window with all the watches in it, and he can just like see it on his wrist right away.
Sure, but so if you were sitting in your apartment, you wanted to shop watches, right?
I don't know. You'd say, brain, shop watches.
Yeah.
Okay, Google, shop watches.
Because I did like that scene.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, because they have that tech kind of in some malls in like Korea. I've seen that where you stand in front of you stand in front of like a little kiosk and it scans you. Yeah. And then you can like change outfits on your scanned image.
Oh my god,
and
that's
then
weird.
Just to see what kind of like what that dress would look like or whatever. Yeah. Right? So
crazy.
Yeah. So again, this is like a lot of tech that I could definitely see happening, but I was just kind of like, because here's the thing.
And then we all drive old cars.
And we all drive old cars, of course, that I assume are electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, because the movie, of course, it's all about privacy, this and that kind of thing, which is something we are facing now, and that's what it was like. It's like, that's the world we live in already. Like, so that's what, like, when it's like, it's not sci-fi in that sense that it's like, oh, what's the moral question about these? It's like, we already deal with that.
Yeah.
It's like, and it sucks.
Yeah, we don't have any privacy.
Yeah, and I like that line when he's like, oh, well, they say it's for our safety. And she's like, I don't feel safe. And then that's like, exactly, none of it works.
I guess you could also, like, you could take privacy as a theme in the movie, but you could also kind of, they touch on, like, advanced technology making us incompetent at doing things the old-fashioned way. Mm-hmm. Like, with the cops being absolutely useless when they don't have...
Yeah. The instant answer?
The instant answer, yeah.
Well, and then even they kind of try to shift it from just the fact that there's the murders to like, because the deputy or the director guy, what did they call him?
He's such a douche.
He was quite douchey. It was excellent, and he's all like, it's not these murders, it's the fact that there are people out there who don't have like the identities or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that, but it just didn't seem to like work in this movie.
Yeah.
To go that route, because it's like that would be the ultimate like, oh shit, these people are out there being anonymous. That's bad.
Sure. And his line was like, I don't care that they're dead. I only care that she's not.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah, and I was like, is he just telling them to kill her?
You just shoot her.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll erase it.
Yeah.
No one will know.
We get our not master hacker to erase it.
Yeah. It starts with him pointing a gun at her and then just like Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like that kind of stuff would be fun in the AR type stuff.
Oh yeah, there's that kid playing the video game in the
alleyway.
In the alleyway.
Like so we get some cool tastes. But I was just thinking that it's like, yeah, what is this tech and what is put in our brains to make this tech work, and does it take a big chunk out? Like,
yeah, just like, half of it.
You know, in our eyes, the eye strain's a thing already. Like them sitting there staring at stuff, and that would have to be beamed right onto your retinas, right? Like,
I actually thought when they had the scene with the lesbians that get killed.
Yeah.
I actually thought that that was gonna be like cam girls at first.
Oh yeah.
Like they were gonna explore like the pornography.
Sure.
Angle or opportunities that that would present.
Well, in that End of Days movies, that was definitely in there. Like because people record themselves having sex and then could sell it, etc. Or do it and then like relive having sex instead, not just like doing a memory. It would be full sensory immersion.
Oh, crazy!
Yeah, so it was. So that's what, like I said, it really reminded me of that movie, just like that kind of tech wise, where it was not just about the memories, but it was more. But yeah, and then very Minority Report, and you know the AR tech everywhere, and they can see everything from everyone's perspective, which was kind of like, that was definitely taking a step further than I thought they were going to be able to do when they're like,
they didn't have tablets.
No, not even just that. I just meant like when they're like, oh, okay, we're through her 5 boxies and we're locked on, and they literally just see through her eyes. And I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, it was really cool.
I thought they could do it to like somebody, you know, they're investigating and then they're dead now or whatever. But like literally just like,
like live feed.
Yeah, like live feed. This is what we're seeing. What's she seeing? It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the movie had some cool ideas. It was pretty good, and the cinematography, like you pointed out, was really good.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Did you find it strange that he just was smoking everywhere all the time?
I thought it was hilarious.
Because you never see people in public, like unless they're outside. It's not a cool, sexy thing anymore.
No.
And like you never see people in movies in the future, especially smoking indoors.
Yeah.
So I was like wondering, like, I guess it was just to make it feel like a noir detective feel.
Yeah, I guess, it did, because like you said, it did have that feel for sure. And I guess, I thought it was just hilarious, because even like the fact that he was smoking, I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And then he's doing it everywhere. And I was just kind of like, all right, whatever. I just assumed there's some sort of future cigarette that it's not, like, bad.
Yeah, it's like an e-cigarette that smells like bubblegum.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew. He's just vaping.
Yeah, he's just vaping the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of like...
It's a weird thing because you don't see it as much anymore.
That's true.
Like, when you watch old movies, yeah.
Sure, everyone's smoking, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and then all I can think is like, oh, fuck, that room would smell so gross.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, it's hilarious, at least even to me, like... when you see people smoking now, it's like, we know what they do. Like,
yeah.
It's like, and I get it, people, it's your choice, etc., but I'm just like,
I don't understand why people start.
You could just not.
Yeah. Just look at me not have a cigarette ever.
Yeah. Hooray. I don't know, yeah, I was fine with it. I'm like, whatever, it's...
No, I was fine with it too. Like, it did add to the overall tone and feel of the movie. But it was also just a little bit jarring because you just don't see that.
Yeah, I always found it funny when they're smoking at, like, a crime scene that I'm like, wouldn't that, like, contaminate stuff?
Yeah.
Or, like, you drop ash?
But I guess they don't need to do...
as much CSI.
Forensics anymore because they have video.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, like you say, he's smoking and drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Because, of course, he's got the dead son and what have you, so he's probably pretty down.
He's sad.
Yeah, because there's, like, the scene where he calls his ex, and she's like, are you drunk? And he's like, no, I haven't had a drink in, like, days.
Yeah, he's got it in his hand.
Yeah, and she's like, show me the last 10 minutes. Because, he was just literally drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The cinematography was quite nice, and the design of things.
Cool toned kind of color scheme to it. Lots of gray.
I was going to say very gray.
A little bit of green. It was, I don't know, it was a very pretty movie. There's a lot of scenes where the way the shot was set up was just cool looking.
Yeah.
There was I can't remember what exactly, but it's kind of shot from above and he's coming down the staircase, like running down the staircase.
Right.
And there's kind of like some good shadow and light going on, and it looked very much almost like old movies from the 40s, you know, that kind of gothic romance feel where like the woman's running down a staircase.
Yeah.
It kind of had that kind of look to it almost. It was pretty cool, actually. I appreciated.
Yeah.
And all the architecture they used was very like cold and...
Yeah, we were talking about that. We were trying to figure out where all the outdoor shots... I guess we could have looked it up.
Yeah.
But it very much reminded me of like a Chicago or a New York type setting, so...
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly where it was.
And all the indoor stuff, even like his apartment was very starkly decorated, very like...
Yeah. Well,
clean.
And then that was the thing, like you were saying as well, that you can notice there's no paper tech. There's no televisions, no computers, because it's all in your head. So it's like they don't do any of that stuff anymore. And like you're saying at the office setting or scenes that they do too. Because it was like even when one of the victims is reading like a book, it's like an old book. It's not like a new paperback. You're like, oh cool, it was like some old book.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been... There could have been more, could have been something, but I feel like that about a lot of things. But for a Netflix original type project, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
I'm curious to know what the budget was, because of course, like, there was...
Yeah, they seem to have pretty good budgets on their shows and movies and...
I don't know, because sometimes... Well, I just mean because, like... There was a lot of scenes where you would maybe expect some more people to be involved, and there's nobody.
Yeah.
It's just like a few of them, right? Or this or that kind of thing. And it's like, so, they don't have to pay extra people and make a big production of it. Fine.
But it did kind of add to the overall feel of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the movie felt very lonely, which I guess kind of makes sense because Clive Owen in it was pretty lonely.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking of, like, the scene where they show the one guy committing suicide.
Yeah.
And he's, like, looking out over, like, a street area.
And there's nobody down there. Yeah.
I was like, there would probably be somebody. It looks like the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So.
But again, that adds to him feeling kind of lonely when he's about to jump.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. But I don't know. So I was curious. I'm curious about the budget on it as well. Because, I don't know, you hear some stories about some stuff, or like when they are going to spend a lot. No, it's fine. I was just, because I was thinking of like Bright, and then there was like one recently announced.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen Bright.
Me neither. Where they announced it, and it was like, oh, it's going to be Netflix like biggest budget movie. And I'm like, I wonder how much money that is. Like... Because, you know, if you want to compare it to, not even like to something like a Batman v Superman or anything where they spend $250 million on it, like even like $100 million or $150 is a pretty decent sized budget.
$20 million.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
They make money though over there at Netflix.
Oh, I'm not, yeah, definitely they do. Well, and I know we were going to maybe talk a little bit about some stuff, but there was like, for a brief few hours, I don't know if you heard about that, how Netflix was worth more than Disney because its stock shot up because there was like a announcement that they actually got more subscription than they thought they were going to, and like there was, you know, an upswell in their stock price, and then they became more valuable than Disney.
Oh, really?
For like 4 hours or something like that.
Haha, take that, Disney.
Yeah, well, except for Disney makes money. a lot of it.
Yeah, they do.
But just their stock valuation was worth more.
Talk about, there's rumor that Netflix is going to buy a movie chain.
Yeah, you were mentioning that, and I was very curious, as well as like I could see it was my reaction.
Yeah.
But also, like, why you're the one killing that industry.
Apparently they want to buy Landmark theaters.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, Netflix, as far as I can tell, and please don't write a paper based off this because this is not a good source. They want to do a subscription-based theaters.
Yeah, when you mentioned that to me, it reminds me that because I know they brought it back. It's something called Movie Pass down in the States, anyway.
Okay.
And there's like one chain, I guess, or something like that. And because I know it's gone back and forth, where it used to be like you pay X a month.
Yeah.
And you can just see all the movies you want.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, now you can only see like one a day or something like that.
Oh.
Like, you know, there was some scale back or something.
Somebody abused that.
Yeah, somebody abused the heck out of the system. And then there was some scale back, and then I guess I think the price went up, of course, because probably theaters were like, hey, you know, that's annoying.
Yeah, no, for sure. Or, yeah, so I guess, like, or maybe it'll be, like, combined with your
Netflix?
Your Netflix account, like your home one?
Yeah, you can get both or whatever, or just one or the other.
And then,
maybe get a deal. It's like, oh, you're a subscriber, you only have to pay an extra $10 or whatever to get the service.
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be interesting because it would be like, will it be...
Yeah, what would they show?
Netflix exclusive movies, which would be cool. Sure. I wouldn't mind watching that on the big screen.
No.
Would it be movies that they have on their subscription?
In their catalog?
Like, in their catalog? Because, like, there are movies that are no longer in theater or pretty old that I wouldn't mind watching in theater again.
And, well, this was something I was thinking about, because Netflix, like I was mentioning previously, they're losing some content, of course, because licensing deals end, and then these people want to renegotiate because now streaming services are worth something. Mm-hmm. In the past, when they made these deals, they were like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then some people, of course, want to start their own, so it's like they're losing catalog, but there are some places where you can't see these movies anymore. You can't rent them. You can't get them anywhere. You can't even... You can maybe buy an old DVD from Amazon if you're lucky or whatever, but it'll be too much, or you can find it in a drugstore.
Yeah.
But it's like, so if you want to watch an older movie sometimes, like, well, myself anyway, sometimes you gotta like visit the old internet store, right? So, like, it's becoming hard sometimes to find some
For sure.
Which is too bad.
I was actually feeling a little nostalgic yesterday that there's no Blockbusters or Rogers or anything, because it actually used to be a thing you could do, was like go down and rent a movie, and it was like an activity, and it was kind of, because there wasn't all these, like, you couldn't just download something in 2 minutes, and you couldn't like go on Netflix and find it, that it was like an event to watch a movie at home.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just saying, for some older movies, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I kind of really feel like watching this, and I'm like, that's got to be on Netflix, and it's not, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, maybe it's on something else, and it's also not, and you're just like, oh, guess that sucks.
Yeah, and then they had like the 5 for 5 for 5 or 7 for 7 for 7.
For 7. Yeah.
And then you end up like finding movies you never would have watched before.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, that looks interesting.
Yeah, or be like, I like the cover of that, or that's the actor I like, right? And I don't really, like, I don't tend to watch a lot of movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
Unless I am, like, specifically trying to watch it, or I've already watched it. Like, I'll put on Doctor Strange sometimes or whatever, and like, just, like, skip through to the parts I like. But I don't go on there and I'm like, oh, hey, I've never heard of this weird French movie before. I'm going to watch that.
Sure. Yeah. I definitely have browsed through, and, being in Canada, we have a lesser catalog than the States, of course.
We have a different catalog.
Yeah.
Because we have the new Star Wars movies, and they do not.
They do not, because Disney wants to make their own service. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have different content, but browse through, there's some weird stuff on there, and I'm just kind of like, oh, that's maybe, but I don't bother watching,
I've watched, like, Owen Academy, like, 14 times, like, so Netflix starts, like, suggesting stuff based off that.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of, like, this is nothing to do with what we just...
No, we're talking Netflix stuff.
There's a bunch of, like, Japanese live action shows that they keep, like, suggesting, and, like, they all look so silly. Like, there's one where a girl is, like, a roommate with a hot guy, but they're, like, not sleeping together, and she's kind of nerdy, and it's like I guess the hijinks that ensues, and I'm just like, why are you suggesting this to Netflix?
Well, no, so probably some of the jokes are very culturally, like it makes sense in Japanese culture, but you're like, that's not.
Like, I never got the nosebleed thing in a lot of animes until, like, Tony explained it to me, so.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Netflix is tough too, because I know that they've increased the price, but they still get a lot of subscribers. But then
did they increase the price?
Didn't they, like, 6 months ago or something like that, or like a year ago?
What is it, like $10.99?
Yeah, it went from $9.99 up. I know that.
Yeah, and it was like $8 when I joined.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, and the thing is because, like I was saying, it's kind of in a real flux period right now, because these other companies are trying to make their own streaming services, and they're really kind of like pulling content you would think would be on Netflix is not, because it's trying to go to another service. And I mean, at the end of the day, people, what's the kind of, like, how many services are people willing to be on to, like, get this? And that, I get Amazon's good angle, where if you have Amazon Prime, you get their streaming service as well.
Yeah, except that Prime Video kind of sucks balls.
I wonder if that's just maybe, again, a Canadian thing, like when the American one has more.
I don't know. Like, the Night Manager is on there, which I actually really wanted to see. I haven't finished watching it yet because it's too intense that I get really, like, I have to pause it and pace around my house and then come back and watch it.
Nice.
And then they had American Gods was on there.
Yeah.
That was a Prime exclusive.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Both Charlie's Angels movies are on there, and that's about as far as I've explored.
Gotten into the catalog?
Yeah.
Well, and then, of course, up here there is Crave.
Yeah.
That's owned by Rogers.
Crave. There's the... What's the horror one called?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Like Slash or something.
Oh, really?
There's there's one that's like all horror movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
And then there's like Hulu, of course.
Of course, Hulu.
Yeah. I have a subscription to Out TV so I can watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's other gay shows on there too.
Sure. No, but I just mean, like, it's a weird period in less than a decade ago. There was only Netflix, and it had everything, it seemed like, because there was only one place to be.
Yeah,
and then of course, with people taking all their content off, that's why Netflix has started to create all their own content.
Wasn't Hulu around before Netflix?
Not streaming wise. Netflix existed originally in a disc.
Right, I remember that, and then they'd send it to you, and then you'd send it back.
You send it back, and then they started their streaming service, but internet was still terrible back then.
Yeah.
And data caps were still, they weren't as much of a thing, but they became more of a thing, which is also something that's very anti-streaming services, and I hate.
Yep.
But, then, of course, the famous story, they went to Blockbuster and were like, hey, buy us, and Blockbuster said no.
Yeah.
And then we all know how that went.
so good.
Yeah.
It went so good.
Yeah. So, but I think then Hulu also came about, but not as a streaming service before Netflix existed.
Okay, I thought it was. I don't know why.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
You're gonna do some research on the air.
Oh, snap.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Netflix has been around since 1997.
Yeah.
But they started streaming in 2007.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hulu started streaming in March 2007. So I guess it depends on which month.
Which month?
Netflix started.
I want to just say Netflix was first.
I feel like Hulu was there first. I'm going to type in what was the date Netflix.
The only reason I want to say Netflix was first is because they were so successful that they didn't have to have commercials, whereas Hulu had to have commercials like almost immediately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they just didn't have as much of a catalog. Like they had a few shows and they were like, yeah, that'll be good, and then it was like, no, it's not good. Because again, like HBO has their own HBO Go, which they're still piloting whether you need to have HBO already.
I would, you know what? If you didn't have to, I would have that. I would pay for that service.
Well, and I know in some areas where you don't have to have HBO, I don't remember the data, but it's like their numbers swell, of course, in Game of Thrones time. And then, because even people do that now. Like, they'll cancel their HBO, and then when a show, like, say, for example, Westworld or Game of Thrones rolls around, they turn it back on, watch the show, and then turn it back off, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought is hilarious that it works that way. I was like, wouldn't it just be part of your cable package? But I don't know. Well, and then it just became interesting, like I was saying, that Netflix had all this money and they just didn't know what to do with it, and so they started making their own shows. Right? And
January 15th, 2018.
Right.
Netflix. Or 2008.
2008?
Yeah.
Oh, so they were after.
Yeah, they were after. That's right. Oh. You were wrong.
No.
But in October 1st, 2007, Netflix offered $1 million prize to the first developer of a video recommendation algorithm.
Which, from what I understand, they got rid of, because they used to have the star system, and they got rid of that.
Yeah.
And now they have this other system. And it's talking about finding this movie, I was like, oh, we'll just go to Netflix Originals. It's not segmented between shows and movies. It's all one big list. And I was like, this is so stupid. Like, already I'm annoyed.
Yeah, you used to be able to really, like, dial down. Like, it'd be like movies, rom-com, and then you could like be like recommend and then listed by like highest to lowest rating or something like that, right?
Or similar to what I've watched because it knows what you've watched.
Or release date, stuff like that, right? And now it's just like, I want to watch a rom-com, and it's like,
here's 10,000. Here's
10,000 movies that might have one line of comedy and
romance.
Romance,
Yeah, it doesn't seem very efficient
a couple
anymore.
kisses in the background.
Nice.
And there's a clown at some point, so this qualifies.
Yeah, it just seemed difficult to find unless you know the title or specifically kind of what you're after. Because even then, I think it's like when you go to the categories, they put their stuff at the top of the list.
Yeah, they do.
Which of course they would. Yeah. And then there's other things, right? So.
Is there anything on Netflix that you're looking forward to coming out?
I don't know. Well, I'm pretty behind. I still haven't seen Dirk Gently Season 2.
That was pretty good.
Jessica Jones Season 2. Daredevil Season 2.
I haven't watched Season 2 of Jessica Jones either.
Isn't it? It's out though, right?
It is out.
It is out. Yeah. So, I'm behind 4 shows.
You should watch Series of Unfortunate Events too.
Series of Unfortunate Events Season 2. I haven't seen that yet. I'm really behind on my shows. I wanted to catch back up. I've been watching The Wire, which has been really, really good. It's an old HBO show.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah. You were just looking at me derogatorily. No, because it's really good, but it's hilariously, of course, dated. They got pagers and the tech. It's hilarious, and that's fine. And
now it's a historical drama.
Yeah, well, and even some of the stuff that they do in the show, I was like, I bet you when that happened originally, it was pretty edgy. Yeah. But now it's just not. Right? There's a black lesbian couple in it, and then there's some making out, and I was like, oh, that was probably a thing when it came out. And even there's a scene where the guys, the only word they use dialogue is fuck, and I was like, again, that was probably oh man, that was edgy.
And then just Game of Thrones storms on the scene.
Yeah. Well, and even I think Sopranos was after it, maybe.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
or maybe
really
around the
old.
same time. Yeah, it's pretty old.
I've never watched The Sopranos.
I watched some of it. It was pretty good. Again, that one's pretty dated too. But I don't know. I enjoyed the Sopranos. I did watch. But anywho, so point being, there's nothing I'm looking forward to about a net. What about yourself then? You must have some shows that you might know about. No? Oh.
Well, they canceled Dirk Gently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's only going to be 2 seasons.
So I got lots of time to watch season 2.
Yeah, you got tons of time. I guess I'm looking forward to the next season of whatever I just said.
Unfortunate Events?
Yeah. But that probably won't be for a while.
Yeah, because they just released this one pretty
Although they're filming it right now.
Are they? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
because they've come in and bought costumes.
Nice. Well, and I also feel like there are probably a lot of shows on Netflix that I just don't know about that might be quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you just don't hear about some of them, or like I'm always curious. I like browse through the list and I'm like, what is this show? Is this worth watching? I don't know.
I like The Crown. I'm looking forward to season 3 of that.
Oh yeah.
I haven't watched Stranger Things yet.
You definitely should watch Stranger Things.
I know, everybody says that.
Then you probably should definitely watch
I
it.
know. I'm just a terrible person.
No, it's not that. It's very enjoyable.
I watched the first 30 seconds and I just wasn't into it.
It's like the first page of Dune thing.
Yeah.
Hey, no, the first page of Dune didn't grab me. Yeah, because it's a 1,000-page epic. First page though.
Well, how am I gonna read another 1,000 pages if I can't even get into the first one?
Yeah. So, establishing character, world stuff. No.
It was so boring.
Boring.
I feel like I read the first paragraph 20 times and I was like, I have no idea what this is about because it's so boring.
Well, I feel like you should give Stranger Things another shot, though, at some point.
Yeah, no, I think so too, because everybody... I don't think I was in the right mood or something.
It happens. I mean, even I've, started a show and I'm like, I'm just not feeling this right now.
I'm kind of I'm maxed out on 80s nostalgia.
Yeah, well, and maybe just because for me, that is the only area I'm getting 80s nostalgia from, so I'm okay with it, but there's definitely a lot of 80s nostalgia out there right now. It's like, I get it. Like, I was a kid from the 80s, and it's like, no, it's fine. Just let it go. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. What are you going to do?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of any movies coming out, although I get every day. This drives me crazy. Netflix executives, if you are listening, please stop with the notifications in the top right corner, because I get a notification every single day and I click on it and it's the same one from yesterday, but it has a little fucking one beside it. It drives me insane.
Oh really? Is that on the computer app?
Yeah.
Okay, because I mostly watch it on my PS3, so I don't really see anything like that.
No, it gives you every day. It's you have 7 notifications, and I'm like, of course I do, because you just keep telling me that I have notifications, even though I check it every single day. Because you just remind me every day for a week until I guess I don't know.
I also don't.
We have another shitty movie coming out that's with Adam Sandler in it.
Oh yes.
And I'm like, I don't care, Netflix.
They have a big SkyTrain ad for what is it? The Week Before it's called, with him and Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And I know
it looks bad.
Well, I know he signed a 6-picture deal with Netflix.
Oh, did he?
Sandler did. Back when he made The Ridiculous 6.
Yeah.
And I guess this is his 3rd or 4th one that he's made?
I read an article that I don't remember where it was from, so don't quote me. Maybe this is just internet mythology.
Sure.
That Adam Sandler doesn't make money on movies because he sells a lot of movies. He makes money on movies because he's really good at product placement.
Yeah, no, definitely there's tons of product placement in these movies.
Yeah. And that's how he makes his money.
Well, and I think it's more there's probably a lot of Hollywood accounting in it, in that, because he hires his crew of guys, the Madison Productions.
Yeah.
And he's got David Spade and Chris Rock and Kevin James and stuff like that. So there's some Hollywood accounting going on.
Oh, and what's his name? The really annoying one. Rob Schneider.
Schneider, yeah, exactly, right. So there's some Hollywood accounting where he's like, oh, I didn't make make money on that movie. Right?
Yeah.
But Happy Madison Productions probably made a ton of money, and these other guys made a lot of money.
Right.
So
yeah.
I could believe that. Like I said, there's probably some accounting going on there.
Yeah, but that's what I heard. It's that, like, the majority of his revenue doesn't come from ticket sales. It comes from product placement.
Well, and of course now, like I said, he made this 6-picture deal with Netflix, and
actually,
they're all out on Netflix.
When you rewatch The Wedding Singer, there's a scene where he's like in bed and his friend comes in and he's like, "Wow, your pillows are so soft," and he's like, "It's Downy," and he's like, "Wow, Downy goodness is so soft on my skin. Nice. I just love this Downy goodness." Like, it's so obvious.
Yeah. Can get pretty insidious for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like I said, I wouldn't know the exact figures, but I could believe that for sure, where it's like, oh yeah, that don't make anything.
What's his name has a contract? The guy that was on Workaholics.
Which one? There's the 3 of them, right? The shorter guy one, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got brown hair.
Yeah.
And he is shorter.
Yes.
And he did the movie... That terrible movie, Mike and Friend Need Wedding Dates. Yeah.
I know who you're speaking of. Unfortunately, I don't know their names.
I don't know his name either.
Yeah.
But he's been doing a lot of Netflix movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I get a fucking notification every day that there's a new one of his movies coming out on Netflix.
Yay.
It's a Netflix original movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and like I was saying, this is kind of my point, is they've been pumping out, or trying to pump out as much content to keep their catalog robust because they're losing other movies, right?
Yeah. But doesn't it take time to make a movie?
I guess, but if you have many projects going at once, you can pump them out pretty quick, and
I feel but this, okay, so one actor releasing like 20 movies in a week, like, was he filming all of them at the same time? Like, what is it? Doesn't it take a couple months to film a movie?
Well, I mean, like, you could film a scene and other people have to film scenes, and it's all split up, right? So, you show up, do a few lines, and you go move out, and you move to the other set.
24-hour days where it's just like going from movie to movie?
Going to the other set? No, but it's like usually principal photography isn't that long in a movie. It's mostly the editing and the music and all that kind of stuff. It's
all green screen. He just filmed everything in
from his house. Yeah. No, but I just mean, like, he could go somewhere for a week, shoot his scenes, and then move on to another.
But he's a star of all these movies.
Yeah,
he starred in like 100 movies a week, every week for 2018. He did so many movies.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Sometimes, well, depending on the project, photography, the principal photography doesn't take that long.
Maybe if you layer all the films, you'll just see that.
Yeah, it's all the same thing. Like they used to do in old Disney movies.
Yeah.
We take the same animation but like reskin it.
Yeah, just recycle it. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Now we know what's going on.
Exactly, and they just redoes the audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it's, like I said, it's kind of in flux, and I don't really go on Netflix often, except for to watch usually like a show or a movie kind of thing. Here and there.
I go on quite a bit.
Yeah. But
I never turn on my TV. Like, I have cable, and I never ever turn on the TV.
Right. TV. In that sense, I thought you meant like because you can watch probably Netflix on your television.
Oh yeah. No, I just usually watch them on my computer because Tony's doing something else. I don't want to bug him.
Right.
Be like, we're watching War on Academy again.
Yeah.
For the 20th
Sorry,
time.
it's happening.
Yeah. I do sing along though, and I have my headphones on, so I find that pretty irritating. I'm sure.
Sure. I don't know. What do you think about Netflix's future? Like I was talking about. Do you think it's got to raise prices?
No, I don't.
Do you think it'll like hemorrhage a lot of users?
I think it kind of depends on how they go forward.
Yeah.
Because if they do something like purchase the landmark theaters.
Yeah.
And have a chain, just bump up the price and say that it covers both. I think they'd lose a lot of people.
Right.
I don't know. If they continue creating quality content, then I can't see it. There's a lot of shows that people are really invested in, like Orange is the New Black and Stranger Things, and you can't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
And if they kind of keep the prices reasonable, like under $15 a month, I'm sure people will continue to pay for it.
Yeah, I'm envisioning like almost a scenario kind of like HBO Go, like I was talking about, where it's like when there is the new season of Stranger Things, people resub, watch it, and then probably are like, there's nothing else really interesting, cancel.
Yeah.
And then come back when there's another season of another show they want to watch. Unless, like you say, the pricing, because right now it's like $10 a month, that it's like people keep it just around.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's kind of like, it's going to have to go up in price. There's no doubt that like these deals are going to get renegotiated, and they're going to make Netflix pay through the nose to keep some of these movies
Or maybe
around.
they'll have tiers. Maybe it'll be tier 1 is only Netflix.
Originals,
Tier 2 is
other content.
Yeah, some shows and some movies, and tier 3 are like
is everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that could be possible because they're gonna have to do something at some point, because I know that
they have your monthly fee with all of your Netflix, but if you want to watch something else, you rent it for $2.
Right. Okay. Kind of like an on-demand.
Yeah.
As well. Oh yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah, I definitely feel that something's gonna have to change, and it's not gonna be their own fault in a sense, right? Like it was even when the price went up, people were like, and it's like, dude, Disney's demanding more money. Everyone's demanding more money. Streaming services are where it's at now. It's not their fault. They were the first, or not the first apparently, but they did it the best, and they're a victim of their own success, right?
Yeah, I can't wait for when we start getting streaming packages.
Yeah.
You know how, like, there's cable packages, right? Where somebody's going to come along and be like, listen, if you pay $100 a month, you have access to Hulu, Prime, Netflix, Out TV.
Yeah. Well, and here's
HBO Go.
Here's the thing where I've always seen the dark road on this, and it's nearly come to pass, and I really hope it doesn't, and I hope somebody listening to this doesn't take this idea. But here's what I've always seen is the cynical road on this, is that Crave, for example, or Bell or whoever, it's owned by Rogers. And one day, they're going to say, if you watch Crave content, it won't count against your data cap.
Oh.
Whereas if you watch anyone else, it'll count towards your data cap. And that day can very well be soon. Because data caps are a thing, and they keep on trying to push them, and I keep on trying to push back.
Yeah.
And they're already charging for right now to have unlimited, quote unquote, internet a lot. And it's like I said, this is going to happen, and it's going to suck.
Yeah.
And I'm always fearful of the day when that does happen. Because then it'll push people a certain way, there'll be lawsuits, and blah, 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 but the damage will be done.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, it's not a way, it's because it's not an internet fast lane, it's just, because it's not against net neutrality. You're not regulating other people's data, you're just saying it just doesn't count towards something. So,
then that would be enough to get me to switch services.
Yeah, be on the lookout for when that happens, by the way.
Yeah. Take Bell, you need to buy Out TV.
Yeah, because that's the dark road right there.
Yeah.
And I've been very curious with why they haven't tried it in the past already. Like CTV is owned by Bell and this and that.
Because why would they do that when they could charge you double, basically, right? They charge you for the service and they charge you for the data.
Yeah.
They're gonna,
Yeah. Well, no, it just incentivizes people to go to their service.
I think it would be more likely, they make too much money on their fucking data.
That I know.
So I think it'd be more likely that, if you join Crave and you're a Rogers customer, you'll get like 30% off or something like that.
Sure.
Rather than, because why would they give up that opportunity to charge you twice?
I don't know. I'm just saying if there's some pushback or whatever, they can be like, oh, we'll do this for you.
No, they won't do anything. We're a bunch of assholes.
Well, I mean, when the CRTC sues them or whatever.
This is what they'll do. They'll be like, we're going to give you 10% off Crave, but we're still going to charge you data.
Yeah.
And because we love you so much, we're going to give you an additional $5 bonus fee.
I was about to say a fee.
Yeah. Make sure that the picture is crystal clear. Yeah. It also takes up more data, but don't worry.
Don't worry about it. The $5 fee covers it.
The $5 fee covers it because you can use it to your data overages.
Yeah. Which
it'll be eaten up in one show.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's so ridiculous. But anywho, that's always the dark road I've seen and always not wanted to see. So. And
we're going to charge you an extra $30 on top of any fees when you go over your data because we have somebody that has to call you or we have to process that bill and it's a $30 fee.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
But anywho, so that's my view on that, though.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know if Netflix went to strictly original stuff, and it stayed at $10, I would keep it.
I think that's what a lot of people say or feel as well, that it's like, it's cool that they have all this extra content right now, but if they ditched all of it, because they had to, because it just became too expensive, as long as it stayed at a reasonable price, people would still stick around.
I don't think I'd pay more than $10 for Netflix original content, though. Right. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's... Circling back to the movie Anon, talking about a Netflix original, it was good. Go watch it.
It was good. Go get a Netflix subscription, watch it, and then cancel your subscription.
Yeah. I've also heard The Black Coat's Daughter is really good. I want to check that one out. That's actually next on the list for a Netflix movie I'd like to watch.
I've never even heard of it until you mentioned it.
Yeah, apparently it's some kind of horror movie.
What's it about?
Oh, I don't want to give it away.
Oh, is there a doll?
No, there's no doll.
Is it a possessed doll in the walls?
No.
And it's actually the ghost of a girl who was a serial killer who got killed by a priest who was...
That's something ridiculous?
Yeah.
No, it's about, like a high school girl or a college girl or whatever kind of thing, and then there's some murder, suspense stuff, and it's supposedly pretty good.
Oh.
Although, and I know it's not a Netflix original, and I've probably mentioned it before, but The Vitch was really good to watch that.
Yeah, fair. But it is on Netflix.
It is on Netflix, as far as I know, as we're recording this.
Not anymore, suckers.
Yeah, basically. But I don't have really much else to say, unless you wanted to say more.
I don't know. I think Netflix is worth the price.
Absolutely.
Anon is worth the 40 hour and 40 minutes it takes to watch it.
Okay.
That's my review.
Sure.
Glowing review. I'm also very tired.
Sure.
In case I hadn't mentioned it already.
No, you've only mentioned it like 10 times.
Yeah. I'm very tired. But that's my, at the end of the day, Netflix is worth it and so is Anon.
There you go.
But neither of them will change your life.
No. What? I will go burn every document proving I exist now and then somew live.
Off the grid?
Off the grid, but not.
And you can help other people
because I have a firearms license, so the police know who I am.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's not the movie for you, Dan.
No, unfortunately.
You could be Clive Owen in it, though.
Oh yeah, but I'm not a detective, so.
You could become a detective. You have a firearms license. You're halfway there.
No.
You could poorly go undercover and get a prostitute, live in a really nice penthouse suite, and drive a fancy car.
Yeah. Oh man, taking it one for the team, like you said.
It's like, oh, this is rough, guys. I think I better go undercover for 6 months at least.
Gotta make it really authentic.
Yeah, I gotta see that prostitute every day. Yeah. Should we wrap it up?
Yes.
Okay. You can see our website, which is tomeofuselessness.com. You can check out our Instagram, which is at Tome of Uselessness. You can, with underscores.
Yeah,
places.
people figure it out.
Yeah. You can Twitter us at Useless Tome. We're also on Pinterest for some reason. I haven't gone on it in a while.
Oh.
And are we on any... Oh, YouTube?
YouTube, of course.
We're on all the things.
Yeah, we try. We got to get the social medias going.
We would love to hear from you if you want to leave us a comment on any of those.
Yeah, the website's got the links.
Yeah. Also, if you review this on iTunes...
Yeah, on iTunes.
That's neato. Share it with all of your friends that need to listen to this. And anything else?
No, just thanks for listening.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.